Oh man. Oh man.
Are you serious? Did it stop recording?
What's up, y'all, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Amber, and here we talk about faith, lifestyle, and occasionally some hot topics. In today's video, we are talking about Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson and what we can learn from these two. So, without further ado, let's get started. So for those of you who are new to my YouTube channel, I just want to say welcome and thank you so much for just tuning in. I will say that this is a faith-based YouTube channel as a disclaimer. So I am not here with the motive to gossip, to slander, or to harass anybody. I'm just here to take two people whose journey right now is very public and just add some type of wisdom and advice to those of you who are watching, because I believe that we can learn from other people's experiences. We don't have to walk through certain things just to learn what the outcome is, right? We can just watch other people and take notes, okay? At least that's how I prefer to learn my lessons in life. I don't necessarily want to go through the fire, you know, I'll catch you on the other side. You let me know how that went for you. That's kind of my idea. So, yes, Khloe and Tristan. So, I just want to say that I recognize that these two people are people, meaning that they are human, meaning they have emotions, they have feelings, and they have hearts, okay? And they have spirits. And I just feel like it's unfortunate on both sides what's happening here, because we're dealing with two people who obviously have some brokenness, right? So with Khloe in particularly, I will say that the human in me has a hard time or has had a hard time feeling bad for her when I feel like, I'm like, how did you not see this coming, right? But then on the other side, I feel for her because I think that Khloe has some, like I said, she has brokenness. And I don't really know what would make a woman want to stay with somebody who publicly humiliates and embarrasses her, except the fact that, number one, there's a very strong emotional attachment. You are deeply in love with this man and you're just optimistic that things will work out, and that you are just so tender-hearted to the point where, you know, you're putting someone else's well-being over yours. And then lastly, I think that Khloe is still growing in her esteem. I think that if she really valued herself and really recognized her worth, she would not be putting up with Tristan and all of his shenanigans. So let's go ahead and talk about like 3 things to consider in dating relationships. And you know, I could just do this cliche style by just doing like a video about like 10 different things, but instead, I figure, like, why not just use real life examples? I think that's more interesting, just me personally. The first thing, whenever you're getting to know somebody, like dating, whether it's like just like a very casual date, or maybe you meet somebody and like it's serious from the jump, okay? Something you need to consider, like the very first thing, is their character. That is so important. I think that a lot of times character gets overlooked because we focus more on external things, but you have to pay attention to a person's character. When Khloe met Tristan, Tristan had another woman pregnant and she was in her last trimester. And then he's out here, you know, frolicking around with all these different women, and Khloe comes along, and instead of him, because a man with character, a godly man at that, would say to Khloe, look, Khloe, I think you're beautiful. I think you have a great personality, and I would love to get to know you. But unfortunately, I do have a child on the way right now. Not like that's an unfortunate thing, but just follow me. I do have a child on the way, and I do have some things to, address with my baby's mother, and we just have a lot going on right now, and I'm not going to be able to give you the attention that you need or deserve, and I'm not in a position to make room for another person emotionally. I just don't have it right now. But maybe later on down the road, once things are kind of settled and we have a rhythm with our son, then maybe we can entertain this later. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened. And so, ladies, what you want to do is, if the man isn't mature enough to say that, then I want to encourage you to be mature enough to say that. If you meet a guy and he's fresh out of a relationship, this actually happened to me when I was single. This guy, he was interested in getting to know me. We were like in like a friend group kind of thing, and I thought he was really cool. Like, I didn't think anything bad about him at all, but like, he had been in a relationship for like 5 years, and then him and the girl broke up, and then we started getting to know each other like a little bit, but I just didn't feel comfortable with it at all, like the whole time, because 5 years is a long time to be with somebody, and you don't just lose feelings for that person overnight. There are people who start to become emotionally distant from their partner over a certain amount of time, but I just didn't believe him, to be honest, because I'm like, there's no way. Like, if you really love this person, like, there's no way that you're bounced back already and you're just good to go. So be mature enough, ladies, to say, no. And then the second point I want to make is to always be sensitive to a person who has children. I cannot emphasize this enough. So I used to be a caseworker, and unfortunately I met so many kids who were completely broken and who had some strong behavioral issues because their mother or their father chose a relationship over them. Their parent chose love and happiness over their child's needs. I understand that we all want to be happy, that we all want love, that we all want a companion. Like, I get that. But at the same time, not at the expense of your child. Like, you have to put your child and your child's needs first. So with this situation with Khloe and Tristan, it was all fun and games, and it was cute when the other baby, when Tristan's other baby's mother was expecting and Khloe came along. Khloe, I don't think she really had any type of feeling toward that, because she's like, oh, that has nothing to do with me. That's between them. I'm the new woman. We have our own thing, right? But that's the thing about us as people. We don't care about things until they have a direct impact on us, and then all of a sudden we want to care, right? So now you see Khloe being the woman in that woman's shoes. Now you see her there, because now he's gotten somebody else pregnant and Khloe just feels shattered, right? That's exactly how this other woman felt. She felt shattered too. And so we just have to be mindful when there's children involved, because right now they're little, they don't know what's going on, but whenever they get older, like, they're going to see these things. And on the topic of children, ladies, we have to be very cautious and selective in our dating, or in your dating, because I'm married. But I want to say, be cautious and be mindful. You have to pay attention to, like my first point, character, right? Because this man that you're entertaining is ultimately going to be the father of your children. So you need to be paying attention. Is this man a good example? If I had a child with this man, is that something I would be proud of, or would I be kicking myself? So, for Khloe, she obviously was not thinking about that. And so now here he is years later still doing the same stuff that he'd been doing. So it's unfortunate and it's sad. I do feel bad for these children involved because, you know, it's embarrassing. And it's not just embarrassing for Khloe, it's embarrassing for every person involved. And it affects every person involved because now, you know, you now have to be considerate of this third woman. You have to consider her, you have to consider her child. You know, you might have beef with her, but you can't let that impact the children. So, like I said, it's all fun, it's cute and all that until you start getting kids involved, and in the moment, you don't think it matters, but later on down the road, you see that it does. The last point that I want to encourage you ladies with is remembering your value and your worth. Like, that's something you should never waver on. And, you know, if you recognize that your esteem is low, if you recognize, like, you see yourself and you just don't think you deserve love, or you don't think that you'll ever have somebody who really just loves you for you, I want to tell you that that is a lie. And I also want to tell you that, you know, all of that starts here first. It starts with where you are internally. You know, as a Christian, as a daughter of Christ, that's where my value comes from. So I don't put my value into things. I don't put it into possessions. I don't put it into my job. I don't put it into my family. I don't put it into any of that. You know, maybe you're thinking, well, Amber, that's cool, but I'm not a Christian. Okay, well, whether you're a Christian or not, God still created you, and he created you in his image, and he created you with value and worth. And so you have to recognize that you are not the scum of the earth, that you are not baggage, that you are not rubbish, you know, that you are a human being, and that whether you have a relationship with God or not, and I pray that you do encounter Christ and that you have a relationship with Jesus, but even still, like, you are wonderfully and beautifully made. Spend time with yourself. Get to know yourself, you know. Take time for you. Start to recognize the things that you do well. Start to recognize what you're passionate about, what brings you happiness. Pay attention to those things. And then whenever you do start to have an understanding of yourself, you know, don't let people try to rob you of the things that make you who you are. Khloe, obviously, I think has some internal things that she's working through. But at the same time, even though she's dealing with some things here, that does not give somebody the right to hijack her. That does not give somebody the right to come in and take advantage of her. But unfortunately, those kinds of things happen. Those kinds of things happen. And going back to Khloe, you know, I think that she has been bullied. She's been picked on for so long. And she keeps getting these surgeries, and people just continue to do what they do. But it's like she's doing what she can in the way that she knows how. And I think that if we're not careful as women, we'll spend so much time on our outward appearance than we do what's happening in our heart and who we are on the inside. I think Khloe needs to start paying more attention to who she is on the inside, and she also has to consider her daughter. This is not just about her, this is about her daughter as well. And I just think that, you know, her daughter's getting older, and kids can get really confused. Like, why is dad here sometimes and other times he's gone? Like, what's up with that? And I think that she just needs to create a safe space for her and her child. And she might have to be single for a while. She might have to, look, you watching this, that might be you. You might need to be single for a while you do some maintenance on yourself. And that is totally okay. Because relationships are so serious. they are so weighty, they're so serious. You're giving someone all access into your heart, and y'all, you have to tread very lightly with that. So in conclusion, I'm hoping the best for these two. I'm hoping that Tristan can get himself together, and I'm hoping that Khloe will begin to put herself first. I think that she also needs to take on responsibility for her actions. I know that sounds like I'm a principal or something, but I'm serious. I think that a big part of healing is admitting your wrongs. And I think that she, you know, just needs to acknowledge, like, hey, this is where I fell short. And then I think she just needs to move forward. So I would love to hear what you think about all of this. So if you're open to it, leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Let's remember that these are people. So let's try not to, you know, say ugly things about them. And then after you do that, if you decide to do that, feel free to subscribe to my channel. If you ring that notification bell, it will alert you whenever I drop a new video. And be sure to share this video with a friend. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care.